Hey guys, it's Casual Friday night, and that means it's Nancy Matz Friday. And this is a special one because this is the last show for 2022. So Nancy is going to come on and talk about 2023 and what all of us have to look forward to. So don't miss it. We'll see you in about 5 minutes. Grab your popcorn and snacks. Find a comfy spot, take a seat or lie down, and let me transport you to a place of fantasy, ghost stories, ancient legends, odd creatures, alien encounters, and other magical topics. You may even decide to join the conversation. From faraway lands to your own backyard, with a small dash of pixie dust, turn out the lights and open your minds. The journey is about to begin. Good evening, everybody. How's everybody doing tonight? Hang on, let me get this thing on my. Look at this. It's in my face. There it goes. Another week of that. I wasn't worried about it. Welcome to the show. My name is Charlotte. I'm going to be your host for the next hour, and I am also the host of the. You know who I am. What am I saying? I'm also the owner. That's the back of the day. I'm also the owner of the California Haunts Paranormal Investigation Team based out of Sacramento, California. We are 45 strong up and down the state, which means we can get to you. If you think you have a paranormal need, we can get to you from no matter where we're at. It may take us an hour or so, but we will get to you. Today marks the end of 2022 as far as our shows go. Tomorrow, what marks the end of 2023? Some of you are in New Year's Eve already, Kelly. See? And I can honestly say I'll be glad when 2022 goes away. If I had my way, I would kick it out the door, then run it over. That's how I feel. Towards the end of 2021, end of 2022, beginning of 2022, it'll go away for all I care. But it's still not done. I mean, Australia and those countries over there are almost in the clear. That we still have 24 hours of this to see if anything horrible, still going to start sucking up people's lives or what it's going to do. We're going to find out. But anyway, if you're watching from Facebook and you like what you see tonight, I want to have you hit that like button and that follow button if you haven't already. If you're watching from YouTube, see if I can direct this. There's that ghost right there in the bottom right-hand corner. And click on that, and that will subscribe you to our shows. We have more than 470 shows sitting over there of various topics. I'm a journalist. I don't like to do the same thing every day. So we have all kinds of different topics that might interest you. So there you have it. Okay, so I'm going to bring Nancy on here. We're going to get the show started. And like I said, 2022 can go away for all I care. I've had enough of that. For me, it started in October 2021. Actually, July 2021 really is when it started for me. And then it went all the way through 2022. So I'm glad. 2022, man. If I could do a video of myself, like taking the numbers from 2022 and just my shoe booting them out my front door, I'd be good. I would. I'd be really good. And I was telling Marisa this earlier, my producer. We could shoot a video like that, and then we could throw the numbers in the middle of the street and run them over with my car. Right? That's how I feel about it. But at least it's going away. Get into a new year, new things. I'm expecting a lot this year. I'm expecting to add TikTok to our live shows this year, so I'm really excited about that. So we'll be going live on TikTok, as well as doing the live shows here, on Facebook and YouTube. So I'm real excited about doing that stuff. So it's just things like that 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 we're going to be expanding on, and you're going to see different credits. You're going to see a few different things with the show as well. Good things that are going to make the show better, and nothing but the best, nothing but good intentions for you guys. So I'm looking forward to 2023. Okay, well, let me bring Nancy in and get the show on the road. Here we go.
Hi.
Hello.
Hi. Hello, everybody. Happy New Year's tomorrow. You've had a hard year and a half. We all know you've lost people and dogs, cats, whatever, and you even had a bird that died on you. So it's been really, really hard. I'm very sensitive to people losing people, and it's what I do for a living. Talk about those kinds of things. So, how's the volume coming in?
I'm glad to see it go away. It started out with my dog in July of 2021, and then it just, except for August, from October all the way through. I mean, boom, boom. So I'm glad to see it all go. So what are you glad to see go, Nancy? I mean, this is the end of the year for you. So what, talk to me.
I spent a couple of days putting my thoughts together. Mm-hmm. People, during readings, people are always asking me questions. And of course, when I think about putting a show together like this, I go, and I have somebody I banter with, a couple people I banter with, and they reminded me of some of the things I've said and what I should get into, more predicting and more crime. I seem to be able to know who's involved as with the 4 young people that got killed, I described this fella, and
Mm-hmm.
tonight I got a call from a friend that said, "You told me he looked like this." I go, "Well, you know," and I need to step up and be more accountable. Um, I did skip around and watch a few shows, predictions. I'll own that. Anything I say, I'll say that someone else also mentioned it. But most of the time, when I pick up things, I'm very visual, so I get pictures of what I'm picking up. And so some of these things, I'm going to give you visuals, and those are my responsibility. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong. And this is, and then on other shows, I did see once. This is for entertainment purposes. I am a um, registered minister. I take this very seriously. I never lie, never expand on anything. So I'm kind of like the nuts and bolts person. I help people through drama and trauma in their life, really tough, unfortunate things. So when I do world events or things coming up, I have to ask in a broader sense. So you're going to see some of that. I'm not good with names in my business in 32 years. If someone calls me, I'll remember the first name, I'll never remember the last name. And it's because privacy is huge. I record everything, and I
Mm-hmm.
never want a last name. People can call me and go, blah, blah, blah. I go, I recognize the first name. What was your name when we met the first time? What did you do for a living? Oh, I remember you. And I'll go, because I click into somebody actually at work or in another activity. I don't read them sitting there. And the reason is that people get, oh my gosh, she's touching me with her life force. I can feel her around my neck. And I don't, so sometimes I'll offset. So with the TV, my husband watches a lot of the TV news and whatever, and I can actually get a hit off of TV, and somebody could be dictating the news. Oh,
Oh, we lost you.
I am hearing me again.
Okay.
It's a loop. So how do you stop me from repeating myself, dear?
You have something on that's doing that. So figure out your headphones.
Pardon me?
Figure out your headphone settings. You have something that's doing it.
Type me a message. I'm sorry?
Let me go in where I do that private chat. It's something with your headphone settings.
Okay, everybody, be patient with us. Nothing's wrong there. Not the webcam.
I
I
wonder
don't
if it's
hear
from
me
the
now.
end. Do you hear it now? Okay.
Do you
Okay.
have another window open?
Let me try something. Let me try something real quick. Okay. Let me try something. Hang on. This was the experiment tonight. I'm trying to work out. How's that? Is that better? Is that better? Can you hear me?
I hear you.
Is there a loop?
Yeah. Still,
It's
I'm
still
hearing.
looping?
Yeah. I'm hearing you a couple times.
Okay,
I
I'm
hear
good
you.
because I was testing the
I'm
thing with
still.
her TikTok.
Char, I'm hearing me repeat myself. Turn your
Okay, I don't know
laptop
what's
off.
going on with that. That's on your end. It's not this end, I don't think. Okay. So keep talking. Are you still hearing yourself?
I haven't changed. I don't have any duplicate out. I don't have any phone on. I don't have second computer.
Huh.
So,
Okay. You might
so
have to restart. Restart yourself.
do you want me back out and go out?
Yeah, go out
Leave
and come back in.
studio? Okay. I'll.
Yeah. Okay, guys, bear with us. It happens, and yeah, something's going on from her end, so we're trying to figure out what's going on with her end. So we're just trying to figure that out. Anyway, so yeah, I'm glad 2023 is going or 2022 is going away. Okay, here we go again. I'm going to bring her back in, see if that did something to it. Hang on, guys. Okay. Better? Okay. So it's something on your end on the computer. I don't know what's going on.
I've come back in.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not here. There's a lag as though there's two of you talking,
That's weird.
and I'm hearing you again and again, but now I'm hearing me again.
That's just weird. I don't know what that is. Because I reset everything on this end. Yeah, because I'm on the Scarlet now. That's just weird.
Oh, this is hurting my head.
This is crazy. You sure you don't have your desktop speakers on?
No. Don't have anything else on.
Check your mic settings in.
I have everything, just these. What a way to start 2023.
No, 2022 hasn't let us go yet. That's why. Okay, let me check something here. I'll check my. Where's my tools on here for me? Hang on. Let me see what's going on from this end. Hang on, guys. Be patient.
Okay. Do you hear me? I can't hear you.
Hang on.
Oh, now I heard you.
Are you still looping?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what's doing it. Are you plugged into the Scarlet, or how you plugged into your system?
Just like every show, right into the computer.
Computer issue. Okay, well, we'll do this the old-fashioned way. Get your cell phone.
Second time I've heard it.
Well, let's do it this way. Do this the old-fashioned way. Hang on, guys. We're going to do a show. Just relax.
I picked it up.
Okay, let's do this. All right, can you hear me now? Speak to me.
I can hear you, Shar.
Okay, hang on. Let me up the mat again here. All right, we're good. So.
Uh-oh, echo. There's an echo.
Turn your speaker off on your computer, because your mic is picking you up on the computer.
Okay, everything's unplugged.
Okay, how's that sound now?
Yeah, sounds
okay.
Good.
All right, let's do this. You were saying about 2022.
It's not starting out very good. It's not ending very good with this show. And we've wasted a few minutes. I hope everybody had the patience.
Just be patient. Here we go, guys.
Well, it's unfortunate. Comments. Oh my goodness. Hello, everybody. Judith, Jerry, Kelly, Marissa, out of chit chat. Oh, I'm so sorry, everybody. Mercury went retrograde. Oh, I love it. I love it. I don't know anything about that retrograde. I do what I do the way I do it, and sometimes people don't want me to use the tools because they know I'm getting it intuitively. And we shall start here.
That was very, so everybody, we were going to try doing 2 cameras and 2 audios so she could stream in 2 different directions.
I did.
And I suspect there is not my kids the same every week. There's something going on, and that experiment failed. Listen, Charlotte, I want you to keep track of the chat room.
Sure.
So if those people have, they turn that volume down on your end. It hurt my ear when you replied. Let's see here. Try that. Can you hear me okay?
Yeah, I'm fine.
I just turned it down a little bit.
Yeah, we're fine.
I'm going to be talking things I don't talk about a lot, other than I have mentioned a couple people, and they said you should be putting it out there what you're getting. And when I do a reading, I blend with the person I'm talking to. So if I talk about Putin, I'll talk about his perception of what's going on, and then his country. I look at maps for 32 years, and somehow I connect to a state or a country or a section. So I want to start with that. If there's questions in the room, I don't want any. This has happened. Please, not on the air. Is my boyfriend cheating on me? Don't ask that. And when will I get my inheritance? I had this done in a public forum, about 50 people. And the lady says, I'm expecting inheritance when I'm going to get it. And I looked at her and says, are you divorced? This is your husband? And she said, yes. And everybody went, oh. Of course, I'm not going to answer that. So make it a little bigger. It can be asked private, but make sure that I can answer it. Don't say, what's my next year look like? Well, how am I going to answer that without taking the rest of the show up, right? Putin and the war, after negotiations are over, which it will stop, it will take over. In some ways, he wants the war to end, and he's trying to get the Ukraine to give up and say, let's negotiate. I do know he wants water access. And in some ways, it will be negotiated differently than he's expecting, but Ukraine will cede a little bit of property. I don't know all the details. I do know that he wants to do a dirty bomb. I don't think he wants to do a nuclear bomb. And the reason is he doesn't want to lose face. Everybody always knows that. But let me give you the other side of the coin. He's actually afraid. He's afraid that if he does do a dirty bomb, if he does ruin the country, not only will he suffer, but the rest of the European nations will, and they're going to blame him. He already knows that he has other countries wanting to tackle him down and murder him. He's very afraid of assassination. He's really clenched up. He's really afraid. And I saw him on TV giving a talk. He was waving to the Chinese president, and he was just like, it was so false. I went, are you kidding me? And he's trying to get together. Everybody saw him talk to the mothers of missing or dead children or husbands. And I thought that this was a put on to soften the country to like him. And they're not. And they're losing a lot of husbands, a lot of sons, 58,000, I think they said today, or was that the Ukraine? Lots and lots of people were dying. And he's afraid of a rebellion in that country, which is amazing because you don't think of the communist country getting away with it, but they are already doing it. And so I look at a country like Russia as a circle. And from the center of their capital, east and south, there's going to be some kind of uprising. Okay, how big that gets, I don't care. I just see it. The country is also showing me a lot of darkness, and it makes me think they're already in the darkness. And that implies economic levels. It shows, we see pictures, everybody's all wonderful, but they are having an economic slowdown. And I do see their country going deeper in debt and deeper in problems. And Putin knows this, and he's trying to negotiate other countries to help him and give him more work. And so he touched base with China. Hey, over China, can you help me out? We'll trade, we'll do things. And I'm going to show the world that I'm in business with you, and you're in business with me, so we can't have lost power. We can't have lost economic status. And so I see it differently than most people, and I'd like talking about something different than what everybody else talks about. And it's kind of like a ruse. Because when I go to, I'm going to finish that about Putin. So a lot of people say, oh, I'm seeing him being shot in a car. And I'm not going to say no to that. But I also see there's a conference or business, and the Putin gets up to leave. And a square-bodied man comes up and puts his hand on Putin's shoulder. He says, that's it. You're done. And I'm not sure what that means. The exact word, this is enough, is what he says. And the way he looks at Putin, it scares him. So I don't know if it's like, let's go to that car and you're going to get shot, or or they take him away and he disappears. I am being shown a country house, and I know he has a villa. That's not what I'm seeing. I'm seeing a lot of force at a house. So if it's staged that, by the way, he went on vacation, he died, it could be from a bullet. Or he went away and he died, it could be cancer. Or they moved him away and he's never going to be seen again. Only the end result is to be seen, because I've seen sort of like different ways. And I don't know if the universe says, oh, if we fail one way, we're going to get him the other way. If we fail this way, then he's just going to be locked up in a house and he's going to die there. And I cannot feel him. It's like he's disappeared. And I don't know at what point that will happen. A lot of people saying, well, he wants this dirty bomb. But if he does do that, NATO's going to come after him. And the other side of the coin is I see, and this happened already, but I see what they call the armaments that are the great big guns, and they shoot. I saw 3 of them in a row, and they were going into Russia. It's like, if you do it to me, we're going to do it to you now. And let's see how you like this. And unfortunately, Russia doesn't know it, but a lot of their men now are on the side of Ukraine. They're going to be fighting their own people. They're going to, okay, we're going to do it to them. Where that takes them kind of scares me a little. But at the same time, Putin is going to be, he's already afraid. It's way deep in here. Because when I looked at him, I went, and people know me, go, whoa, is that what you picked up? And he is ill, but I don't know if it's cancer. I don't know what that is. A lot of cancers are very manageable. Like there is blood cancer in my family, and they live 20, 30 years sometimes. So I'm not sure what it is. He doesn't look healthy to me. Didn't someone tell me he's in his 70s? I think he's in his early 70s, and that's when things start breaking down. And so he's got a lot on his plate, and he is afraid. I would never say that if I wasn't picking it up. And I think he's afraid of his people. I think he's afraid of uprising. I think he's afraid that his place in history won't be secured unless he acquires more land and brings mother country back. And it's not going to happen. It's just not going to happen. Maybe they'll give him 10 more inches of property line, something like that, just so he could save face. And I feel it soon. It could be 2 or 3 months even. The winter's taking its toll on both countries. And the peoples of Russia are very unhappy, especially when he said, by the way, everybody over 18 under 65, I'm going to pull you into the army. Uprising, hello. And they couldn't leave the country, so they got in the military, and now they're slipping into the forests and the houses, and they're just deserting. You can't not feed your people or clothe them and then have them fight for you. The nation is turning their heels. There's also secret. I'm also hearing radio. So the Russian people are now getting the truth. Wow. Kind of like during the war when you had shortwave, something. They're getting more information because now we're questioning why you take our men if we're doing so well. And the idea that they were attacking Russia because there were Nazis in there, they know the truth now. Okay, so I don't know if there's any questions on that, but I did want to talk about it. And I want to go over to China real quick. On the TV, they're saying, at least 1 million will die. I haven't seen more than that. It could be 1.5 million up to 2 million, 1.75 million. And when I look at the country, remember I do a visual, I look at the country as a clock, and from the center, south, and then southwest, there's a lot of dark going up a little bit. Seems like huge amounts of people are missing. Now, outside of that, too, is those people are involved with manufacturing. And the manufacturing is going to go down. Is that going to hurt the ocean ways and the transportation getting stuff to us? It's going to occur to us. And I picked this once before. Manufacturing is really going down. What's really going to hurt us, if we're not careful, is they're doing manufacturing of our drugs. And I'm hearing Biden and people talking, we've got to pull back some of our own products. And I do see a move, I don't know if it's this year or toward the end of this year or over into next year, but I feel like we're going to be bringing back out of Russia, out of China, manufacturing. And I kind of get a sense of Mexico or Canada. It's like it's not everything's going to come to us. It's going to go somewhere else, but we're going to pull it out of those countries that have control. And China is waving to Russia. Well, what's that mean? All they have to do is stop doing thyroid, and 2/3 of the population in America would be dead in a year, within 4 or 5 months. It's occurring to us that they have too much involvement in our country. they also have a lot of involvement in us and Canada. If anybody, I watch the news and read all the time how big the purchasing of America, even the farmlands and industry, the Chinese are coming in big dollars. So if China thinks they're waving the flag and giving us problem, it's all a ruse. I don't see it. Now, they could be giving North Korea ammunition to make a big scene. I can't tell you how that works out, but I also see the leader and his sister disappear. So I'm not sure how that works either. A year to 2 years, there's something going on behind the scenes that we're not aware of. And that's all. And I'm not being able to read the country, but it feels dark to me as though they're already falling apart. And all the parades and all the ammunition, they're empty. It's like they're not doing what they're supposed to do. And I do feel like they're going to go back and become what we call the farm country. They're not going to have the industry or the mechanisms to be able to be a big power anymore, even though they make a lot of noise, which is really unfortunate. Is there any questions on that? Because I cannot see the chat room. Char?
No.
No? Okay. Now, let me go again. I did feel this, and half a dozen, 50-50 people say, oh, I don't see Biden run again, and half people say they do. I do. Either that or he's going to be in behind the one that will run, and Democrat will win again. There is somebody in Florida that could win, but there's darkness around him. Like maybe he'll try to come to the forefront, but there'll be darkness that follows him, and what that means is there's things that he won't want people to know, or people will find out something he doesn't want them to know. So it's kind of tainted in some way. Even though he's distanced from Trump, it doesn't matter. There's something else going on. The other place I saw activity, I'm going to talk kind of quick here, is above in middle of Texas. I saw that darkness too. Don't know what that means, but above Texas, I want to switch gears and I want to go to weather. If we have tornadoes in the middle of the states, yes. I think there's also an earthquake or other activity in the middle part of the United States because it does this to me. When I see something like that, it's earth, air, water. So in the middle of the United States, I feel like there's some activity. With that, which is crazy, 25, 30 years ago, I did a lot of long-range predicting. And I said, the East Coast peoples are going to move in, and the West Coast people are going to move in. And they're going to want to meet in the middle somewhere. And so what I see is this snowstorm, Buffalo. Oh, my goodness, people, you get used to that. So I asked my friend, I says, how they walk their dog? A lot of newspapers. Yes. It's the advantage of having cats, everybody, right? So I do see that darkness as far as attitude. Because not only is it a lot of snow, but there's inability to get here and there and everywhere. But the cost of living is going to be increased. And of course, California is very expensive. I live in California. And even though I sold the house up on the mountain, got a handful, some cash, I can't buy anything. I've been priced out. So it's got to come down. It'll take another year. When this started, the economy was kind of going, and I saw an 8 interest rate. It's going to back and forth. It may make it. So that's unfortunate. But I see it another year to year and a half, maybe the end of 23 into 24, it's really going to prosper well when we back our way up. So hold out, everybody. The numbers will go down. They'll go up almost like a washboard. Our economy is going like this. But we have to deal with some of these overseas manufacturing. We have to deal with Putin and his game playing that he's trying to do. And unfortunately, that will get in the way in the news from us paying attention. Now, you may be someone thinking about, what about the immigration issues? You know, if I had an answer, I would have an answer. But I've told people, I said, unfortunately, where I live, there's a great number of homeless. Great number. And it's because it's California, Northern California. They'd rather be here than where the snow, right? And I just don't have an answer. Kind of wish we'd take care of our peoples first. And maybe I'll say that softly because I do have compassion when you're afraid for your children. I don't know why all those people walked all the way up to us. Why couldn't they in Central America or maybe settle in Mexico somewhere? I just don't have answers, everybody. If I did, I would be elected to office, right? but not at my age. I don't want to go down that road anymore. And so is your computer volume also on? Okay, what about your grave? It's always interferes. Okay, so praying for world peace. Actually, yes. Okay. New numbers of people deal with the Browns. Okay, so I do see COVID coming around I do see some conditions. So last year I said to people I know that I saw a condition with the conditions coming. RSV, I saw children involved, and then I saw something with skin involved. And I thought at first it was skin welting up on children. But I feel like what I was seeing is Mpox, something like that coming. I do see 2 more rounds of something. And the reason I'm not going to say it's COVID is because the variants are going to be, there's one's coming that's stronger than the rest of them, and it's not the next one, it's the one after. So I think what we're seeing now is the Chinese that are around the world in 10 days, 80 days, soon 8 days. And I feel like that round, and then something else will come. I'm not going to go on forever because I think we're getting the variances. I moved down 15, 16 weeks ago from Orville to where my husband lives while he was getting his important medical done. I've been sick 3 times. It's like, and then my husband looked at me, he said to me, you know, you were so isolated for so long, you come down here. And last week, you could hear me, I have something that's still here with me. So, plus I had COVID as soon as I moved in, 3 days. I got really sick. But anyway, you know, it's got to catch up eventually. So at least 2 more rounds of it. Kind of want to say, but I want to be gentle how I say this. I don't think we're done with COVID. It's just going to go round and around, and it'll be treated like the flu. You know, it's just round and round, but the big numbers. And I've always saw a large number in Brazil. I saw a huge number in India. And I did hear that India had that happen. And sometimes you think of Brazil, you know, I don't like saying slums, the numbers, but they said it wasn't as bad as, but I don't think we have the numbers. And of course, that could go to any country. My friend asked me, do you think UFO people were involved? Oh my gosh, that's such a big statement. I can't answer that. I want to answer that, but I'm afraid to answer that because I really don't know for sure. Just move away from the topic, okay, for now, for this a minute. Middle to the west part of Africa, new leader will emerge. Husky man, feels husky, and he will have the appeal of the masses. So when I feel like the appeal of the masses, doesn't mean a bad guy, but somebody who will come to, Africa has some important leaders that have passed away. We need somebody to surface in Africa. And I feel like there will be someone that will come up and win the hearts and souls of the African peoples. Who that is, it doesn't matter to me. When I was kind of looking around the world like I do, I went, oh, I wasn't expecting to see that. Now, is this next year or the year after? I have 32 years. I have people call me up. I need a reading, and this happened twice in the last few weeks. Oh, 15, 20 years ago, the cassette, everything's now happened. Okay, you know, it happens. So some of what I see could not necessarily be this year coming up, but the one after. I feel that American spending will be up and down. I think I brought that up. Stock market, I have real estate for another year of difficulties. Stocks will go up after that. We're having a correction. I'm not sure if it's now, it may be fall. But after that, I think 24 is going to be a very strong year. This year is still indecisive. I don't get bad. I don't like the last year or 2 years with COVID and all this and the falling of people losing their jobs and just really hardships. I'm not picking that up. I think we're through most of it. I'm not getting any kind like we had in 08 at all. Not at all. Elon Musk, when he took over Twitter, I felt very dark. And I felt dark with him, depression. And it's almost like, oh no, what am I going to do now? Well, what I'm going to do is mix it all up. And so he gave okay for everybody to come on board and speak the truth, and it backfired. And he's really regretful. He may say he wants it, but he doesn't really. Remember, I was looking at the person. And so he's backtracking, and that's why he had everybody vote, should I be the CEO? And they said, no, we don't want you. You're ruining it for us. And I felt like before a month was up, he would be getting ready to sell it. may take a huge loss, like $30 million. You can have it, everybody, and he'll take a loss. If he stays in it, it's still a big loss, which I'm not sure he wants to deal with anymore. He is aware that this has affected all his other businesses, and big money's coming in, and they don't want to deal with the cuckoo. As I heard one lady say, cray-cray, and then I said that somebody, well, don't you never heard of that? So he is seeing, like space program, everything else being a domino of despair, disappointment, problems. So he has to hurry up so he can get his investors back or the money back. He hasn't made our money now that he's spent it. So he's going to renegotiate. He'll back away from this and get into this, all these other programs. And you'll hear him on the news like, oh, I'm doing this. I spent all my time here. I'm looking for investors. Bring all the, come in and help me get this off the ground. Because he is afraid. He's not afraid, the big, terrible word there. He is concerned that he messed up. He shouldn't have done that. So we'll have to learn. Only through trials and tribulations do we learn. And only through that do we souls evolve. So even he has a learning curve. Even he has to know the priorities. And as I've always said, in air quotes, everybody, stay with what you know. So I think he had an idea that it won't work. He may lose a lot of money or turn it over to somebody who may run it, but he's invisible now. Charles, I've heard many people say he won't be in for what? Like this year or next year he'll leave. He could think about it, but he's really concerned about his grandchildren. And I really feel that. When he was, there's a picture of him hugging his grandson. I think I saw it a couple weeks back. I'm not sure when it was. I felt this wanting to be with them. Like he would like to retire. He's 74 now. And he wants to retire. And also he's thrown into this position of being, and I'm not saying he's lazy, don't go there. It's just that he has so many other interests, including his wife. But I feel like he will be crowned Norwegian, and so I do feel like he'll change his mind. One day I was kind of thinking about be 5 or 6 years, but I don't think so. I think it'll be sooner than that. But he wants those grandchildren a little older, and that is the key. That's the key. He doesn't want to put them in that situation. He really loves those boys, the children. This is a caution. So someone asked me, where was I picking this up? So a few years back, Tom Hanks was in a movie. And the movie was, he was a captain of a boat. And he was on the east side of Africa. Shar?
Yeah.
Okay. Yep. He was on the east side of Africa, and the bad guys came in a boat, and they boarded it, and all kinds of things were terrible. That's the worst case scenario. Mm-hmm. But I do feel that there's countries that are having money issues that are going to try to be the same kind of thievery. They're going to be showing up when they shouldn't show up. Will we hear about it? I picked it up. So what does that mean? I heard it on the news? Probably. But I had a little bit of distress, though it could be everywhere. And I did then heard people are going on vacation. I won't say the country because that's not fair to the country, where they were robbed while on vacation. That's going to increase. So I give a big caution. And it's not fair for me to pick out the country and say, you shouldn't go there. But I am calling my son. I did tell my son, because he likes to travel. And I said, please don't go here, here, and here. Because I did feel that people leaving the country to go overseas may have a problem. That's all I'm going to say, may have a problem. So don't take a lot of jewelry. Don't stand out, kind of a thing, right? This is something I really, how much time we have time after?
Keep going, well.
I'm a nerdy. People don't realize this. I have an engineering background. I'm an artist. I was an artist, but I had a telephone company. Worked there 24 years. Added up 24 and 32 years. How many years is that, right? And I love technology. Oh, my gosh. Char and I have our nails off, not really. Because I love technology, but they make it so difficult for us to learn new programs and introduce ourselves to old programs to get started. Right. So I'm going to spend a lot of time relearning programs over and over. And look at her smiling.
I was just going to say about the time. We're going to give you guys 15 minutes more because of the clusterfuck in the beginning. The cluster. I said that bad word. The cluster in the beginning. Sorry about that. Oops.
We talk like this in private.
Yeah.
But the problem is that, so I'm very involved with technology. I love it. I read everything I can. So I'm going to make a couple statements. Quantum physics is one of my topics I just love, and it's because of how I do what I do. And I've told you over and over and over, if you've ever had talks with me, that in our brain we have a lot of wiring. Everybody knows that. We only use certain parts, okay. But someone will say to me, I want to know about my grandfather. And they may not know a lot other than his name. And I can talk to him as a spirit person. He'll share secrets of his life, or I'll tell him about his life.
Mm-hmm.
But then they have to go ask grandma and grandpa if that was true. So I'll give you an example. And I'm making a point. Yeah. Big black cat.
Here come the kitties.
Yeah, right. So this woman called me up. She wanted to talk about her mother. Mother shows up in a beautiful floral dress, and as a younger age, like really kind of stealth-looking, slimmer. Stealth is what I was trying to think of. And it was a floral dress. Oh, you are wrong. My mother never owned a dress. Well, the mother says, I wore it to a concert. And the mother said, we live here. We never had access to a concert. Called me back. And she says, I talked to my older sister. Our mother bought one dress. It was floral. She went to a concert to see Elvis Presley. Okay, thank you for the apology. So then I would say, if we can retain everything we know and put it in our brain, it'd be pretty crowded, right? So what happens if you don't know something? Okay?
Mm-hmm.
So what I feel is we have triggers in our mind. And so if it's about you and you don't remember, I think, or you want to talk about something when you were younger. My father got killed when I was 6, and I had a girlfriend talk to me about memories. And what I think it is I had like 3 memories of him, unfortunately, which is terrible, I know, but he was a commercial artist at Universal Studios, and he was always painting some starlet's picture somewhere, Las Vegas, wherever. And so I talked to her, and she got me back to a place where I had better memory. It's not that we go back and have better memory. We have triggers in our mind that notch a place and time. So that notch of that memory of being on the beach of watercoloring, and I was young, I was artist back then too. We go from here through time to that moment. So not all memory is there to capture again. It's mechanisms in our brain to allow us to go back. Same with the future. How can I possibly know future in your brain if it's not lived yet? So in the future, you get married. I have a client who says, so I get married, and I says, it's a yard, big tents, outside, beautiful. So the girlfriend says, my in-laws have this big house, but it's in Wisconsin. And nobody wants to fly there, but she was assistant. A few weeks later, he calls me and says, guess what? They're going to do it in the backyard. So I feel that's a notch because it's so important. My mind goes that same in time. So we're going to be playing around with this, and a new level of consciousness is going to be discovered. As with Dr. Professor Gary Swartz and his soul phone, all this is intertwined with our mind, electrical forces around us. Quantum physics of being able to do what I do. I know how I do it. I know what it feels like. I get readings. People, they can feel me hug their upper shoulders and their neck. The entrance of time is right here. It goes down about that far. And I just boom, back and forth. It's exciting. It's fun. And I think about it every day. And I had an intuitive girlfriend say to me once, don't think about this. You just give them answers. I want you to think about it because it's amazing. Because if you have the ability and you spend a little time, you can also do this. What a great reward to help you people. Pay it forward. If I help you, help somebody else. If I give you good advice, give it on. pass it on. With quantum physics, we're going to be learning more about parallel worlds and alternate realities. And I really think it could be very exciting, along with something I deal with, and I know Shar has done with this, is time slippages.
Mm-hmm.
Because I believe that we are this close to other time and realities. And we talked about it. I don't know if Shar or knows somebody else that up to 10, 20 years ago, we didn't have a phone. 30 years ago. My husband was undercover, I can't say it, police work. And my kids were young. I think it was the middle 70s. And so we brought home the first phone, and it was in a big box. Who knew it would get smaller and smaller and smaller?
Oh, the cell phones. Yeah, that was funny.
To a cell phone.
Yeah.
So I feel like we're going to learn how this works. Does it hurt us in a way that takes away our security with our churches, or does it take away from our security that everything I touch, everything I see is the gospel truth? No, I think it will be very exciting, because I think there's going to be people who will play with that and try to figure out how to do it. Now, I'm going to admit to a show I love, Skinwalker Ranch. Wonderful, wonderful. And I like that. And then on TikTok feed, Las Vegas had a UFO sighting.
Yes, it's all
and
over
the
TikTok.
spotlights were going up and hitting something and making it spark, kind of like, what is that? And it was huge. Don't you think that the alien craft that are in our air, most of them we can't see, we cannot see. They're reflecting light. They're almost invisible. I think they're off factor. They're slipping time. They're slipping dimension. They're just off center. We cannot see them.
You know, if it hadn't been for that movie Nope, the comments wouldn't have been as hilariously funny as they were for those different things, because there's a bunch of those videos going around, and when you look, when you go down the videos, everybody goes, "Nope."
I have not seen that, so it's on my. I don't get to the theater. Sometimes I have to wait.
You know, it takes a lot to scare me, and so movies like Nope, people talk about rant and rave about this movie, and I'm like, oh, okay, whatever. But I mean, to me, it's funny. I've seen, I'm not tell you guys how old I am. I'm old, so I've seen every horror movie out there that there is.
I'm older than your mother. Quit it.
There's
You're a kid.
There's ones that scare that there's only a few horror movies that scare me, and Nope was not one of them. But I just think it's funny because the concept of how they use the guy that, I'm not going to give it away, but how they use the word Nope in there, and so that I found funny when I was looking at those videos from Vegas. I mean, it was crazy because it was cloudy, and they were looking up, and they could see like red and blue running lights on whatever this thing was.
And that wasn't all, because you can see where the edges are, because there's so many.
Yeah, and they have big Super Trooper lights on the buildings in Vegas, and they're reflecting off whatever the hell this thing is, and people are coming out of the bars to look, all the nightclubs to look at it and stuff, and it's just was weird.
Very exciting. That's because they off-shifted in our dimension.
Yeah, it's just really, really weird.
And I'm not going to say, if you have a chance to see the Skeleton Key with Kate, was it Kate Hudson? Oh, fudge, I can't remember. She,
right.
young woman, looked like Kate Hudson, gets a job, and she's to take care of an old man in a kind of a mansion in the deep south.
Mm-hmm.
And the premise of it is, you live in your body now, but if I move you out of your body, I can move my conscience into your body.
Mm-hmm.
I don't like that plot, but why not? Mm-hmm. How many people have heard this? The theory of step-ins.
Right.
Google it, because it was very popular when I got into this in the 90s. There were a couple ladies in Rockland that taught classes on the theory that when you have a personality change, my person's changed 100%. That old person left, a new one came in. So
the Hawaiians have a belief like that.
Do they?
Because I was listening to my good buddy Joe Puna, who, by the way, if you like Hawaiian legends and stuff, he does a show every Friday night. It's Joe Punaho. He used to run he used to be involved with Hawaiian hauntings, or he used to be involved with the tours. He runs Hawaiian hauntings, and he does a show every Friday night where he goes out somewhere and he talks about these legends. And he was talking about, and I don't know if it was Pele or one of them, they were out at some point, and he was talking about how the ghost will go in, the consciousness will go in, and then at some point they move out and another one replaces it.
Ooh, That's just what I was talking about. The movie,
Yeah.
The Skeleton Key.
Yeah,
It was
that's what
very
I'm
good.
saying. And so he had a show about that. That's why I'm like, okay, I know what you're saying.
Did someone Google that and see if I was right on who it was?
But yeah,
Yeah,
that's some creepy stuff.
creepy stuff. Yes,
Creepy
but
stuff.
going along with that, I'm trying not to make it too creepy. My windows are just popping up all over the place. I think we're going to have next few years a lot of exciting quantum physics, parallel universe, alternate dimensions, consciousness things. And I think 3 to 4 years out, we're going to be really developing equipment to be able to talk to spirit kind. Because I was involved just for a very short time with Professor Gary Swartz, proving that there is survival. And I had a client of his, someone he was working with, developing the equipment. IONS is involved with it. So it's very exciting. I just love it. Time slippages is one of my favorite topics.
Well, knowing the people that I know in the industry, in the paranormal industry, like I do, there's always been a thought that after 2022, people's awareness of what's going on is going to expand a lot. So it's coming.
Yeah.
It's coming, and it's coming sooner than later to where everybody's thing is going to,
And I love that. I love that. We need to kind of. So I'm a very strong empathic. In fact, I know when everybody's going to call me here. And I know when I'm going busy or not. Because I can say, oh, I'm going to have a couple of days free here. Yay! Let's pack some boxes. I'm still trying to put my house together. And I know when I'll be busy. Kind of crazy because I can feel someone thinking about calling me. Anyway, I want to go into another area of great interest to me is the ability for people to see. They've already discovered something to help people to see. It's kind of like attached like cochlear. And I think that's going to be evolved bigger and bigger. Almost like there was a young man that lost his sight, but he learned to click. And it was like radar coming out, like a bat. Boop, boop, boop. I think there's things coming out, like someone will wear some on their hand so they can monitor the ground like a cane, but not have to have the cane. I see different kinds of artificial limbs coming out. And I was watching a show, and this fella saw this little boy on TV, and he got his Lego set out, and he created a Lego arm for this little boy. And I think that's opened the doors for people to get very creative. And I see a lot of new inventions coming out, almost like you can wear something. We see movies about Tom Cruise came out with
the dolphin. The dolphin.
Hold on. He was in the military, and he was put to fighting.
Right, I remember that.
And he reset, the day reset every time he got killed. And the entrance was the metal person, looked like a robot who was set inside of it. I see things like that being evolved, developed, but closer to the body. So people who can't move very well or stand, they're coming out with better ways of creating movement for people. Like I just did that, and I could almost feel a total body thing. So people who are paralyzed can now move. The worst thing for people who are paralyzed or have to sit in the chair is the body needs gravity, needs movement. So the insides of your bodies don't work real well if you keep that, if you sit 8 hours a day for 30 years.
Yeah.
It kind of, and I see a lot of that happening coming up.
It's like a dolphin's tail. When they made made the artificial tail for the dolphin, plus with 3D printing, it is getting so good. I mean, they could reproduce anything with 3D printing. So why not? When you talk about sight now, let's talk about that a second. Let's talk about this a little bit. I was talking to Nancy the other day. We had this conversation about aliens, and I was talking to Nancy. I was
going to make that my last topic.
Well, I'm going to jump here because you're talking about eyesight. Okay.
Okay. Yeah.
And let's think about this for a minute. People that are seers, like these scientists and stuff that are seers. And there's a thought out there amongst
Nostradamus type people.
Yeah,
okay.
And there's a thought out there among scientists or amongst the paranormal folk that the alien beings have been in contact with. They pick certain geniuses. The reason why we have geniuses on this earth is because the aliens are feeding them the information. Now, before everybody just goes, "Oh no, you're smoking it." I'm not smoking it. Think about this now. Let's just.
Many people talk to me if. I wasn't going to break up, but you did. If COVID was manipulated
from the aliens,
by the aliens, and I'm going to go yes, and the reason is we cannot see them because they're off shift, just like the ships.
Mm-hmm.
And I kind of had a bad feeling one day talking to somebody. I don't. If it was you, I apologize for not remembering. It's almost like numbers of the world is getting too big, so the numbers have to be brought down a little bit.
Right.
And I think they have, and it's like, I don't want to talk about that. It doesn't feel right for me to say that, but why not, you know?
But as a stretcher, okay?
Stretcher.
Let's talk, okay. Now, don't, I mean, when I do this, let's talk Star Trek a second. Let's talk Gene Roddenberry. Let's talk about Gene Roddenberry, okay?
Right.
All right. What, now, starting back from original Trek, okay, guys, because I'm a Trekkie, right?
Yeah.
What is this? Hang on a second. I just searched for this conversation today. What? I can't read stuff, Jerry. Hang on, I'm blind. Hang on. Oh, okay. All right. When you look at Star Trek, you look at Gene Roddenberry. I mean, where was he getting his information from for stuff? Because or the writers for Star Trek even. When you look at we're still going to talk about Star Wars, but Star Trek is more realistic than Star Wars is in a lot of ways. Well, no, not that part. But I mean, when you look at the original Trek had little salt shaker body scan things. Where they could scan your body with this. Well, what's happening at the airports? Right? They got those security scans, right? And now they even have the security scans to where they can look, and there's a screen there where they can actually see your body, like the X-rays, okay? That came before they even had that stuff on Star Trek.
And so the next step would just implement some kind of medical technology to it.
Right. The communicators, the original communicators. Now, those Motorola flip phones, hello, okay? All right, now, getting all the way up to now, as Star Trek progressed, then you had the people laying on the beds, and they could scan their whole body. Hello, MRIs. There they are, right there. Before they even had these MRIs going, okay? They had head scans, but not full body things. Okay, now, when Nancy talks about the sight thing, TNG Geordi LaForge with the headset on to where he can see. So something or somebody is feeding Gene Roddenberry or whoever was calling the shots over there with this stuff. And it's interesting because you think about even the older writers, who was it? Man's going to go to the moon someday. And the guy made a rocket that was going to the moon without even knowing that there were going to be rockets that went to the moon. So someone is
well, just think of Close Encounters of the Third Kind.
Well, that too. Yeah, see, that stuff.
I mean, some people have said to me, that's a documentary.
Right.
And then I saw Keanu Reeves something on Facebook, and he's looking at us and he's saying, Matrix.
Yeah, exactly. So that's what I mean. And so I saw this in Ancient Aliens, guys. I'm going to be honest with this. I saw this on Ancient Aliens where they were talking. In fact, there's a full thing done on it where they talk about how they feel that a lot of these geniuses that we have, these guys that come up with this stuff that happens in the future, even Tesla, we're talking Tesla and all these people, these writers, and these writers like Roddenberry and Bradbury and all these people, how they feel that they were either born to aliens and they're here on Earth, or the aliens somehow have an implant and they're feeding them information for this stuff.
Well, I got family members think that something's wrong with this. Mom, you're not right. People aren't like you. I go, really?
Oh, I've known that for years. But anyway.
People do what you do, Mom.
Yeah, see?
Yeah.
I remember the descriptions, and I remember talking with the twins who, in fact, they were just on a show a few weeks ago, who were supposedly star children, and they were describing how you could tell somebody's born with alien DNA and that they have these big foreheads. See? Nancy's covering up her forehead, and the majority are psychic.
Yeah.
The ones that were born with alien DNA, that's where they're getting it from.
Oh, the RH factor too.
Yeah, the RH factor. Yeah, see. So I mean, that's happening.
I also have American Indian. I have a big head because it's American Indian. How do you explain that?
You're an alien.
Yeah, right. So most people don't know my grandma was Indian, and I used to have a really beautiful straight nose, a very dark like this, and I got in a car. I was in an accident.
Yeah.
So what you see is what the surgeons were able to do with it. So it's it is what it is.
Anyway, I blew us off schedule, but when you said that about the sight thing, I just wanted to bring that up because Gene Roddenberry And the guys that write Star Trek have seen so much more before it's happened, and it's coming from somewhere. For the advancement.
I absolutely agree. I'd love to have coffee with these people and say, by the way, can I just have a little? Can we talk and let me jump into your time?
Yeah. I mean,
because who you were talking to those years back. So those kinds of things. I love medical and medical advances.
Mm-hmm.
I break out time slippages.
Yeah.
And I'm going to kind of admit to something like no secrets who I am and what I do. I feel like I don't belong here. I feel like I'm in the future. So I'm not sure if Nancy exists here, but there's another person in the future who slips in. Now step in, because I am absolutely astounded how primitive I feel we are. Like, why don't, like, I want to hurry. Something's wrong. Mm-hmm. And I have a really hard time with that. So I'm not sure always. I seem to think I'm me all the time. Who's to say we all don't have step-ins or something, because there's an odd feeling in me that I'm out of sync with time. And so technology in that direction. The other one is one of my not favorite, but one of the areas of interest for me is solar. Years ago, I had some flashes of the future, mm-hmm. and I saw solar as in a shade for your house. And you pull the shade down, it was all solar paneling material. And then the next thing I saw was like a Volkswagen covered with solar panel on it.
That's cool.
A small car. So I think we're moving toward all different ways, not just big panels you have to put on top of your car that are heavier, lightweight, but durable. Mm-hmm. And I think we're going to have it so you wrap a car and solar metallic or whatever that gets it. I don't know how it works in the first place, everybody. I just see it happening, and it's.
Guys, I just thought of another show for us to do next week, and there's a lot of talk of this on TikTok right now, and it's matrixing, and it's matrixing to the point since they're playing around with that super collider, whatever that thing is up in Canada, that there's things that are being changed that people are noticing that shouldn't be changed.
I don't know anything about it.
Like people are finding things like Snow White. Okay, I'll do an example here, something that's simple. I grew up hearing mirror, mirror on the wall, who's the blah, 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 blah. Well, now it's been changed. If you listen to it, it's magic mirror on the wall.
Oh, that's the Mandela effect.
Yeah, the Mandela effect. So I want to do a show on the Mandela effect now, because I'm hearing so much about this stuff on TikTok, different things like that. So that'll be a show Nancy and I can tackle, the Mandela effect. But what you're talking about is the Mandela effect too, because there's a certain psychic I follow, an intuitive I follow on TikTok, who just had something similar happen to her, where she, Auntie Colette, I'll give you credit, okay, where her ex-boyfriend or something happened, and she showed up at her husband or something, I forget what it was, where they cuddled up or something, and she showed up, but she never left her house. So there's weird things like that, like different dimensions coming into effect with this Mandela effect. I forget how the story goes. If I'm wrong, Auntie Colette, I'm sorry, But
go back and find it. And let's get the story right.
Yeah, I see so much of those things. I see so much of those. But it was something along that line where she was in one spot, but she showed up in another spot. And I don't know if it happened like
that's not necessarily Mandela effect, because
I think
clients have told me.
Yeah, it was something that happened early in her relationship with this person or something. I don't think it happened now. God forbid she's married. But it's something that happened, I think, with her ex, that happened a long time ago that she told the story about. It happened, and it's just weird. It's just time things like that. But I mean, it's just weird things. But the Mandela effect, there's a lot of stuff coming out about that. A lot of stuff that's been corrected, that people are finding.
Well, we have to explore that. I have clients that have things happen.
Yeah.
One gentleman met him in the Course of Miracles, so it was the mid-'80s, and he was talking to me about something. And he said, I was on the, apartment complexes. He was upstairs at his daughter's apartment. Mm-hmm. And he's kind of a lanky guy, doesn't move real fast, kind of like 6'4" or 5", kind of a tall, lanky guy. And he saw a fella in the parking lot over the fence in the property next door, and he was coming out with a roll of old carpet, and he was holding it, and he was going downhill to the dumpster, and as he was going downhill, he started to waver because it was too heavy for him. And the man panicked and went, "Oh no!" Boom! And then he found himself holding up the end of the carpet. He went from here to there.
Right.
That fast.
Right.
That's not the Mandela effect. That's slippage.
That's slippage. Yeah. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. But that's also what I do with my mind. I'm here and I'm there within a second. I can actually feel folding of time, like in Dune, like the creatures that used to fold time to travel. I can feel something happening. And it's really hard for me to put my mind around it because I think about this all the time. And I use the example, I have a couple in Italy. They've been clients of mine for 25 years. I've watched their girls grow up. It's crazy. It's crazy. So all the three girls live in the States. They live in Italy. Hello, your daughter? Okay, what do you want to know? Boom, boom, boom. How can I go to Italy, the United States, enter that person's body, read them, give them answers, go back, and then come to me within 2 seconds?
Yeah.
Please.
Yeah.
I love that.
Well, again, I screwed the story up. I'm sorry. I will get the story straight, so I don't want her mad at me
Come
either.
back next week. We'll figure it out.
Yeah, we'll figure it out. I will get the story straight. I don't want her mad at me either because I really like this lady. So I don't want her mad at me either. So don't worry. I'll fix it.
There was another area of interest is we were talking about the homeless or houseless peoples. That number is going to get huge. And everybody says, oh, the economy is returning, a lot of people going to work. I don't think so. What I think is happening is a lot of people are retired. And those that need to work, or those who did retire, the economy is going up, the tax rates are going up, people are leaving their homes. And I think there's going to be a huge movement, develop huge numbers of tiny home communities, not a houseless community like little cracker box, but people who can afford a smaller type residents. I think they're going to pop up everywhere. And I'm almost surprised. I was waiting for it now today, but I think our numbers are being screwed a little bit. I think we're taking over. Because I live in California, I have clients San Francisco, Los Angeles, Oroville, like I live in. All of California has got a huge number of houseless people, let alone homeless people. It's a big difference. And just those who are houseless with children or families, they don't want to be that way. Unfortunately, I just can't hardly stand to talk about this. It's so sad to me. We don't even have enough room for them now in the wintertime. Like you can only pick so many places where people live. So at one time I was driving in Wairika when I lived in that direction. I drove by a place and all of a sudden I saw it broken up into small homes. And it was like a place that used to be a Lucky's or something, like one of those bigger places. And I think the government or people who are very clever are going to find new ways to have people have residences, so small apartment type of thing, so they can have a street address so they can work. I see small houses like on wheels, like trailer size. Sure. But I also saw new ways for people to live. And we're going to have to be very clever in the future because of the last thing I wanted to bring up was the ice age here. Because of climate change, I think we're going to totally live differently. And I'm talking about living in the mountains. So everybody saw Arnold Schwarzenegger go to Mars to release all the alien equipment to be auctioned in the air, right? So I feel like we're going to live similar to that in the future, but on Earth with air. We're going to migrate into new different ways. And I am seeing a colonization of Mars. So remember, I'm going out 10, 15, 20 years, way beyond my own death. And I feel it's going to be very, very successful. It's going to boom once they figure out how to travel faster. People have children that were born there. Industry, like cottage industry, people have their own particular unique way of building whatever they need. And be going back to the Middle Ages, like everybody can do something that will be bought, or not bought, but you'll earn credits or something, and it will have a network. And I've really seen big businesses. It's really taken off there, which will be very exciting. I don't know how they do it for the climate. Not even that far with my prediction on that. I just see it happening. And probably within my lifetime, I will see colonization to a greater and bigger deal. Just really get into it. As well as parts of the moon. I do see that happening. Cool. I do see that. And I just saw a movie recently. The moon had been, I shouldn't bring it up. I don't know the name of it. Just recently I saw a movie. The moon was actually hollow and full of alien technology to keep it so far from the Earth so that we'd have gravity. I
Well,
don't
that's
know
the thing.
about that.
Well, how about that guy we had on, or Mr. Rodriguez the other night? That's what he talks about. How he was trained on the moon, but he was trained inside the moon. That's where his training was.
I didn't watch that yet. I'm sorry.
On the dark side. On the dark
it's
side,
on
though,
dark
where
side.
where it can't be seen. So he was trained underground, and then once he trained on the moon, he got moved to Mars, trained there, and then ended up living elsewhere in the galaxy. But that's where his main training was the moon.
When I think of Mars, I see them on the sunny side.
Mm-hmm.
So it'll be during the day. I think their planet does kind of rotate.
Mm-hmm.
I just see people on the moon. It's kind of like a way station to get to Mars.
Right.
So I do see that happening, and so I've gone out more than a year. I love that. The last thing I want to talk about is I do see an ice age happening. You know, we have crazy on the West Coast. We had terrible fires and everything, but it's not necessarily all our fault. I do feel like volcano activity is actually melting everything, and it will happen more and more. So I give caution, and it could be part of the reason I see so many people movement from the shorelines moving in, because that water will come up.
Mm-hmm.
Mr. Scallion, 20 years ago, drew a map of new waterways right through the United States. I can't answer that. I just see the shorelines being people moving in because the shorelines disappearing, and that will happen. So about 25 years ago, someone asked me 50-year predictions, and one of them I've never forgotten is that a new White House will be established, and it will go west and just a shade north, and it will take 10 years to build it. The compound, huge. You can't get close to it like you can now and have the problems we have.
Mm-hmm.
They're going to give it a new foundation, and the year I bump into it will be after it's established by 10 years.
Mm-hmm.
The president is a man not as tall as what we have had. So 5'9", 5'10", he's husky. He might have a Hispanic or blend of culture because he looks dark to me with dark hair, heavy dark hair. And he's very young looking, like a Kennedy would be young looking. And he's in the White House enjoying the newness of it. So maybe one before him, I'm not sure.
Mm-hmm.
And it feels like they have playgrounds like in downstairs. Like I know they have bowling alleys, but they have other ways that people can enjoy. It's like the families that will have other entertainment. It's really, really fun. I forgot to mention something.
Sure.
When the Putin and the Ukraine, I see the countries of the world coming and pitching, the ones that can, like all the NATO people, coming in within 2 or 3 months and establishing new foundation for new residences and new commerce. And it's going to make the Russian people envious and mad, but they created this problem. And Ukraine is just going to be so much better. I don't like saying that because of what they've been through, but they're going to make Ukraine shine as though we're going to help you get back together. And I see that coming in within 2 or 3 months after the war is ended. It's like, we're coming in, we're going to help you pull your company. Now, the upside to that also is it gives the rest of the world economic advances. Like they'll come in, and because America wants to come in, that's going to give us work too. You know, we're going to be able to create and build to send over there to make it happen. Who pays for that? You know, if I knew everything, I would know everything, right? But it's really going to give our psyche a boost to help. And it's like all the homeless people, all the refugees that come to the United States. I'm just one little person, and I'm elderly. You know, I'm older. What can I do? I already do. I vote, and I do what I can do. So we have to figure out how to do all that, plus help other countries. And I don't have the answer on that. I think it's impossible. It's almost impossible to think through how can we do both, because I really feel like we need to help all the people first. And but I feel like Ukraine peoples are the ones I've known, and those who are living there, they're just like us. They're just people wanting to live. And heaven forbid someone try to move in on us. Remember when Hawaii, luckily my son wasn't over there, they thought North Korea had sent a rocket. And how terrible it was that no one was told it was false. Well, what would they call it? Everybody said, "Oh, we're going to bomb." Just
the air raid siren, yeah.
Oh, air raid.
Yeah.
It was just terrible. We're just people wanting to live, you know. I think I covered everything.
I think so too. And guys, before we cut off, I want to thank some people. This week, George T, who listens from France, of all places, gave you a nice donation. Thank you. And our guest from Wednesday, was it Wednesday? Yeah, from Wednesday, gave me a nice donation. I want to thank her. Her first name was Donna, so thank you if you're listening. I really appreciate it. I can't keep the show on without that. That's what keeps us going are those nice donations. So thank you. The other thing is, this is our last show for 2022, and the numbers were so strong this month. I just hope that January brings us strong numbers too. It was really fun this month because boy, did we take off. We're going to fall back down to earth. It's coming, but I don't know just how far. But it's been a blast. But coming up, you're going to see some changes. I don't know after tonight what I'm going to do about whether we'll have a full-blown TikTok show on, or whether it'll just be Nancy and I on TikTok to get things started and just do it that way. But we'll see. I got to play that out and see how it weighs out. I think I might need a second computer to produce a full-blown show with TikTok.
But what happened was your second computer was picking up my voice.
Yeah, I think that's what was going wrong. Yeah, I was trying to get it to. What I probably need is a splitter. I need a headphone jack splitter is what I need to go into the other computer.
I just want to say to something, Kelly, thank you for your sweet little thing. And Jerry, Moonfall, oh my goodness, that was really a good movie. Thanks for bringing that up.
I just blew you guys up so I could read. Very good. Okay. Because I'm blind. But
Judith, I actually agree with you. I certainly don't have answers. Houses full of stuff. I can never have an extra person in here. I just wouldn't know what to do. That's a hard question. Okay, anybody? So one of these days we should do a show and have people. If I didn't address something here, have people ask me. I think that's fun. I like it.
And as far as the team goes, I see that Susan Klein. I see that Jerry. We are all going to start investigating. The team is going to start investigating again. Like I said, I had a rough year and a half. I had to take time off to get away from it. I could not deal with that kind of death, like the deaths one after the other I was dealing with. So everything's coming back together. Jerry, don't worry about it. Susan, yeah, of course. Marisa, everybody that's on the team. We're going to start getting back out there and start rocking. I'm telling you right now, we're going to start rocking. So I'm real excited.
And that little lady in the 415 area code, Shar and I, the holidays got hold of both of us.
Yeah. We are going to.
Tonight, we plan on calling you.
We plan on calling you and taking care of that. So what am I doing?
Okay.
Yeah, Happy New Year. Happy New Year to everybody. And Nancy, stay on afterwards because I want to test one more thing. And then I want to discuss something with you. But anyway, thank you guys. You guys have given me such a great year with this, and I appreciate all the donations to keep things going. It's been wonderful, and hopefully 2023 we're gonna take off again in more directions with this and really build up. Susan, I'm so glad you came back to the team. It's awesome to have you back. I missed you, and all we can do is just keep looking up and keep moving up with this, and it's rolling right along. And so you're going to see lives from California Haunts, and once I get TikTok going, or once I get things going, you're going to see a lot of lives. When I go to Disneyland, I'm going to go live. You guys are going to get to go with me, and you'll be on the rides with me and all that good stuff. So it's going to be very interesting. I'm going to be expanding out more and more. Those little trips with the Christmas lights were just our test runs, and more. All right. So I will see you. Okay, here we go. Sunday, I'll be here to read the scary Christmas stories. Okay, probably Sunday, and the following Sunday we'll be reading those, and then we jump back into our book on the Salem witch trials, and then everything goes back to normal. You'll see this go away, and then Monday, Kathy Dan's going to be with us, and she has written a book about past lives, but it's more of a it's not a true life thing. It's more of just a book about a couple of families and how past lives affected them, but it's all based on people she knows. So she's going to be with us Monday to talk about that. All right,
and then one of my favorite topics.
Yes, and then again Sunday I'll be here at 6:30, and we're going to be who is this? And we're going to be reading and I'm going to be reading from the book. I'm going to be reading from the book. Let me see what this is. I'm so blind I can't see anything. It's the price is lower than that computer. Okay, we'll talk afterwards. Sir. Okay. Be nice if I could read the
then when
bloody. If I could
well,
read the damn thing.
yeah.
Okay, anyway, Nancy, hang out afterwards. I'm going to shut down with this. Let's get Nancy's information up. I hope everybody has a great New Year's. I'm going to go see Avatar tomorrow, so we'll see how that goes. And yeah, all right, well, here's Nancy's info, and away we go. Websites, nancymatz.com, and that's all lowercase, please. And then you've got nancymatzauthor.com, and the N and the M and the A is capped. And then you've got youtube.com, Nancy Matz Psychic, and the N, M, and P is capped. Help get me out of this funk, Nancy Matz. Two worlds, developing your psychic skills, Nancy Matz. Dun, dun, dun. Sorry. My allergies are so bad. The Unwilling Sacrifice, Nancy Matz. And those books, of course, are available on Amazon.com. Okay, guys, again, if you like the show, share it with 5 people. If you hate the show, share it with 5 of your enemies. Equal opportunity. If you're watching from, I'm trying to get this done fast. If you're watching from Facebook, be sure to hit that like and follow button if you haven't done that already. And if you're watching from YouTube, down the right-hand corner, where am I? It's because the screen's smaller. There I am. Down in that right-hand corner right there, click on that ghost, and that'll take you to our subscribe button if you haven't done that already to subscribe to our shows. Simple. And I want to again thank you all for coming, and I will see you on Sunday night. Have a good one.